Did the Igbos miscalculate at some point in the history of Nigeria?
No. Well, as far as the war was concerned, it wasn't miscalculation. Although the war was not necessary, they shouldn't have gone to war. But they were provoked. Igbos had no choice but to go to the war. They had no choice other than to fight to defend it, to defend the humanity. I supported Ojukwu 1,000%. They were pushed to the wall. They had to fight. They had to create their own country by fire, by force.
Do you think there should be Biafra?
Of course. Of course. Of course. Why did I go and visit my Zegu's mother? Why did I go to the east for my honeymoon? Why did I go to Lagos or go to somewhere else to do my honeymoon after marriage?
You went to the house of Chinua Achebe?
I went to Chinua Achebe in Nsukka University. I spent a night there. I went to Mazi, the author, what's his name now? He was president of youth movement. He lived somewhere close to Enugu. You know, I went to see him. I spent a night there.
Will Biafra come?
It will come. I mean, Nigeria is going to break up. Nobody can do anything about it. Nobody.
Why are you so certain about it?
Because I know it will happen. No country operated the way Nigeria has been operated can survive.
You have no conscience. You have no conscience. And I don't get conscience. Conscience, profile. The German said, conscience, profile. Conscience, pull to my. Now, at times, when I see the people of Anyoma and the Igbos of then Midwest region denying that they are not Igbo, do you know how annoying it is? Now, I want to shock you. That these people actually forgot that the real problem, the entire Igbo nation is actually facing today, and the hatred, suppression that we all are facing today, including me, the Ikwere man, was actually caused and emanated from that area. Of course, as at then, there was nothing like state or regional creation. In fact, there was nothing like Nigeria as at then. But then, there was an event that took place, which is a Kukumeku War. That Kukumeku War was fought between the Igbos and the British government. The Igbos fought that war for several years. British soldiers died in their number. A lot of casualties from the side of the British government. The British government never liked the Igbos for that action because the Igbos resisted them so much that they were not allowed to penetrate Igbo land. That is where the Igbo man's problem emanated from. And thereafter, the British government began to spread hatred, began to mastermind hatred and the suppression of Igbos that you're seeing today. Now, the second one was, of course, you know, the infamous Igbo coup. A coup organized by the Yorubas was later framed an Igbo coup. One of those persons who participated in that coup was an Igbo man from Mbanam community in present-day Delta State. His name is Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogo. Today, you will be shocked that when you go to such communities, where the problem of the entire Igbo nation, where entire race was tagged and was made to be hated, you will see people from that same community claim that they are not Igbo. It will shock you. People who speak Igbo, people who practice Igbo culture, people whose custom and tradition, everything about them, including the food they eat, is Igbo, claim that they are not Igbo. These two major events came from Anyoma, came from the then, or what you call the then Midwest region Igbos. The Igbo nation will not deny their own brothers. When we heard that Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogo was responsible and they have tagged him, we embraced it. We took it. We chested it and fought for it. For 3 years, the entire Igbo nation fought another war for 3 good years because of the problem a Delta State Igbo man from Akpanam caused on the Igbo nation. We fought 3 solid years. And the casualties was more than millions. Over 3 million souls of Igbos, innocent Igbos, were killed because of this same Anyoma Midwest Igbos of present-day Nigeria. And then, without conscience that these people fought for us, these people stood for us in the Kukumeku War, these same people stood for us in the Civil War, embraced what they never crimed, they never committed. They stood for us. In spite of all this, you still come today to say, I am not Igbo. When you speak Igbo, practice Igbo culture, tradition, custom, and you have the guts and the temerity with no conscience, and you say you are not an Igbo man. Then when you finish claiming that you are not an Igbo man, you still go back and commit crimes. An entire nation will still target Igbo man. And you come to tell the Igbo nation you are not an Igbo man. The one fools from Yoruba land who came to invade the Igbo territory of Idu will now be putting fire on your bottom. Tell them you are not Igbo so that you will get appointment. Tell them you are not Igbo so that you will be recuperated into the Nigerian system or whatever. Tell them you are not Igbo. You have oil pipeline contract surveillance. Tell them you are not Igbo. You become a king who will recognize you. And they are fooling you. But when you commit another crime, they all target Igbo. Thunder fire you there. Thunder fire all of you there. You have no conscience. You have no conscience. And I don't get conscience. Conscience, profile. The German said, conscience, profile. Conscience, pull to my monu.
We don't want to talk about this election that is going on, and some politicians from the eastern part of the country are using Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's pictures for campaign. Unfortunately, that's quite condemnable. But what we're talking about this morning is the unification of the Igbo communities, the Igbo tribes. The re-engineering of our identity has come to a global, limelight. And is becoming very significant. And according to revelations, we are hearing that Ondo, part of Ondo, are also Biafras, like the king of the Obi of Onitsha. Made it very clearly that Ilefe, was actually founded by the Igbo people, before the infiltration started. So the truth is that they founded Ife, they founded the Idu kingdom, and these things are part of what we are fighting now. But if you look at how we go to where we are today, where the indigenous people are now beginning to deny their Igbo origin, to deny their Igbo identity, to signify a certain factor, that went as further to create Igbophobia within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, to the extent, and a lot of people that don't know, there's a tribe in Ghana now that is called that Igbo tribe. They originated from there, So they came there, and they moved on. They established themselves there. That's the nature it is. But when you're talking about the indigenous people, the progenitors, where they are geographically, naturally located, the Igbos currently now are over 85 million in population, irrespective of what transpired in 1967, where over 10 million Igbos were actually killed. The restoration and the resurrection of our identity, has continued to spread among Western Igbos or Western Biafrans, or whatever you may call it. Before they used to tell you it's Midwest, all this fragmentation championed by the British government. But I'm happy now that irrespective of what we are seeing today, where a court in Canada has declared PDP and APC as a terrorist organization. And we have a Southerner too, under Goodluck Jonathan, who participated. Let us believe that Jonathan did not know, or he knew that PDP and APC are just a terrorist organization, political terrorist organization are used by the Fulani to impose political conquest on the people of Biafra, because that has always been their target. That is what the British government, the British system, actually want to see. They never fought for conquest for any tribe in Nigeria apart from the Igbo. The Igbo resisted it. That's the Ekumeniku movement. They defended the Jaws. The Ekumeniku movement defended the Jaws, defended the Robos, the Sekiris, the Midwestern lands, to the extent of the Idu Kingdom. There was no issues about that. But we cannot, because of this, not knowing fully well that these people actually came and certain things were being done, not to the detriment of ourselves. You are giving us the impression, you are giving our people who want an Igbo extermination from the surface of the earth, the impression that the Igbos, and it has a multiplying effect. When Chukwuma Zogu, who is from a western part, the so-called Midwest, Western Igbo, from Delta State, it took the life of over 10 million people. The Igbo took it upon himself that he needed to defend himself. He needed to defend irrespective of where they are, who they are. The British, was able to impose some level of, fraternity with other people to connive and give them a certain impression that they are not Igbos. These are people we are talking about. They are everywhere. They are championing their own cause directly. The impression is ongoing, and the resistance is also ongoing. When I look at the likes of Asari Dokubon and the rest of them who came from that region, and I begin to ask questions, the Adakaboros who fought for the liberation of his own people, who died on the Nigerian side. He fought for his own people, but he died on the Nigerian, fighting for entity that he wanted to secede from. The Igbo man never did it. You can see what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going through at this moment. You can see what Odumegwu Ojukwu went through. The Igbo man never gave up. So, to an extent now, but thank God for this, not an era of, waiting when the Western media are going to monopolize our brain, are going to envelop our thinking and our sentiment and reasoning and who we are and destroy our identity. The Igbo unification agenda has continued. And you begin to hear people from Ugoja axis telling you the story. We are going to ascertain anything that has brought this disunification, either by omission or by commission, will be stopped. The Yoruba man has no business in the Edo Kingdom, which is the present day Edo now. Because the Oromiya they are talking about does not come from there. He invaded the Edo Kingdom, which the Igbo people have never done. The only thing they did was to stop British invasion for 35 years. They fought the British. And that was where the sentiment of Igbophobia, the hatred for the Igbo people, continued, started, originated. When Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu, as they believed to have been an Igbo coup, which was not, caused by the Yorubas. We saw what happened when Awolowo was released. He turned against, even to an extent, as if he were protected. Michael Akpala was here in the western part of the country to advocate for Awolowo not to be taken to the northern prison. That he will be more safer in the southern part of the country. And that's what the likes of M.I. Obaladem did as Biafrans at that time. But at the end of the day, it was used as a weapon against the Igbo people. That, of course, led to the Biafra War. It was the Yoruba people that caused the Nigerian Biafra War. But nobody wants to tell you that. So this is just the reality on ground, and the call is ongoing. The unification is necessary because it will bring about, a significant referendum and expand the Igbo people and make them look the way they're supposed to look, or who they are, where they are, how they have been, their culture and tradition. Nobody can be able to say no anymore. If you feel that you are not part and you will never be part, then what is happening in Israel will happen to you. Sudan have agreed to take up anybody there that is called Palestine. They should come bring them to Sudan. That's what will happen. Because according to Mazen Namdekan, we can never cede any of our territory to anybody, irrespective who is behind it. These are the truths the likes of Goodluck Jonathan supposed to know. But unfortunately, you can see the revelation that PDP and APC is not a political party. It is a terrorist organization. They have gone to an extent, or even imposing political conquest on the entire Biafran land. And that is what we are seeing today. If you had come from Mazen Namdekan, they would have said, no, is it? But you can trust a Canadian court to have done that. We must take up this responsibility. The Igbos in Ondo should take up that responsibility. Igbo is the umbrella that houses over 250 ethnic dialects. If you go to some states today,
in Benue State,
in Biafra land, just one state for instance, you have multiple languages. Then how come and Ijoma will say it is? And when it was the Ekumeku War, the Igbos defended them. When it was a Chukumanzog or something, the Igbos defended them. The Igbos in Benue, the Igbos in Kogi,
Cross River,
should understand this very clearly. And what I'm saying in this is it has come to that point of reality because the decision of the Western world, the global world, we don't know what it is going to result any time from now because we are hearing very clearly, that a lot of things were being discussed as a result of Trump, Putin visit, meeting, conference in Alaska. A lot of things are being factored in currently now. And the Sahel states that have pulled out from ECOWAS and AU has decided to align with the reality on ground. The Russian president himself understands what Biafra represents at the end